No, hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. How are you? Compliments of the season or happy holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate. It's another episode of Siblings Perspective where we bring you different siblings, as it were, how they feel, what they've been thinking, about the journey so far with a sibling who's got autism or any other kind of disability. But we're sticking to autism for now because it's the area that's less um, speak about. Um, so we've had guests who've been age 9, teenagers, and you even find where you have siblings, um, they have different experiences. So we had where we had a younger sibling and an older one, and they had different perspectives because again each individual is unique in and of themselves. And today we're going to have somebody, a much older sibling. I think I see her. Once you request to join, I shall bring you on. Let me see if I can also invite to join. Okay, so I've sent the invitation to join to my guest. Hang on a second. There.
I'm sorry, let me switch.
Okay, there you
I'm on the
are.
road. Lagos to Wahala. Good
She's on the
evening.
road. This is Mimi Adamu. I've never met her in person. So full disclosure, so it's not like bringing on just people I know and that sort of thing. So it's just having listened to other episodes, and of course my sister who also has one for called my ASD journey. I think she listened to it as well. I wanted to speak, and we're like, okay, there's a platform for that. Hi, Shalakme. So
Hi,
here's
Shola.
me. I'm going to let her
Hi.
introduce herself like I do with all my guests. And then we'll get going. Hopefully, I've plugged in e- equipment, charged, and so I hope you have a full battery. As you can see, she's on the road. Lagos Wahala, but it's okay. It's not about the location. It's about what she has to say. So maybe I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and as usual, I'll jump in if there's something I need you to amplify. So take it away.
Okay. Hi,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. My name is Mimi Adamu. Um, I have an elder brother, and he's on the spectrum. He's in his 30s. He's my elder brother. He's in his 30s.
30s, you all. Can you hear that? He's in his 30s. What exactly?
Um, always makes it age up. Oh, sorry, 36.
30, that's a long time. 36.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So tell us. So at least
So,
you've known him for 30 years at least, since he's older. So go on.
yeah. So, where do I start from? Okay, so we really didn't know what was wrong at first. I just knew that my brother was very different from me, but we didn't have a name to it. And now the typical African home, something must have happened. What did you do? Or maybe somebody has done something. But one thing I noticed growing up was my brother was or is. I don't want to use words, he still is. He was very smart. He did some things where I would wonder, where are you learning this? Where did you see it? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't pay attention to the fact that he was watching what we were doing. He was
Mm-hmm.
watching what other people around him was doing. He just did some things, and at some point there, I felt like there's an old man in this boy's body. You know? Yes, because of the kind of things he used to do. But
Let
growing up
me
it
ask
wasn't.
you then, around how old were you, or how old was it then when you noticed all this, his ability to, observe and imitate basically and do what he sees?
I think he early teens.
Okay. So a
Yes,
teenage. Mm-hmm.
yes, early teens. I noticed,
Mm-hmm.
and so growing up wasn't the easiest, to be honest. It was crazy, and single mom, so the whole burden was on her. She not knowing what was happening. We tried. I think there was a time we even had a therapist for him as at that time. And to be honest, I'm not sure the therapist actually told us it was autism
Mm-hmm.
as at that time. And so he goes in
Am
for
I losing
therapy.
your? Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
He goes in for therapy and comes out, and he just goes to sit down there with the therapist, because even the therapist did not know what they were doing as at that time. So one thing that I think really worked for my brother is we just allowed him at some point because of what's happening. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know there was anything like autism at that point. So we just allowed him, be himself and all. It wasn't easy
Allowed
because
be himself. Sorry. Can you describe that when you say allowed him be himself? What would being himself look like?
just do all the things you want to do, all the tantrums. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom, throw all your tantrums, but if as a child then if he misbehaves, my mom would beat the
Mm-hmm.
living daylight out of him because she just felt he
Oh
was
dear.
being mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And everything. But along the line, we now found a school, a special school somewhere at Ikeja. We found a school. It was like a boarding house. I remember I was just going into JS1 then. So we put him in that school for a couple of months. That was where he learned how to take care of himself personally. His personal hygiene
Mm-hmm.
was from that school. So
Mm-hmm.
he would take his bath. They taught them how to wash their clothes, how to dress up, just personal hygiene and everything. But at some point, we had to pull him out of that school because, they tend to pick up things around them. So he started picking up other kids, their characters and all. So my mom just felt, it's okay. He has learned the one that she thinks he
Is
should
it
learn.
important?
Yeah, and she pulled him out. But then from there, we took it up. We got him a teacher. She used to come, teach him the basic ABC, 1, 2, 3. He was in his teens then. We, let's like late teens,
Mm-hmm.
thereabout, 17. She would teach him how to read and write, how to talk, basically because he wasn't so fluent. But now he can talk. It's not like he's so fluent, but he can actually, communicate. He even speaks a little bit of our dialect, funny enough. But he understands he understands very well when you
Okay.
talk to him
Okay. So
in our local dialect.
ask you a question now, and also taking, I see one question here as well. So when you look back, okay, so he's 36 now, right? And from the little, I mean, think about it, 36 years ago, nobody really had a name for whatever it was in the country.
Yeah.
Even now, it's still something that's. So you're thinking, like somebody just asked, what were the signs, what were the things that he was doing like? So as far as you can remember, if you can go back to much younger, even before pre-teenage, what was he doing that were some of the things that let you guys know, oh, something isn't quite going the way it should with him? Are there things that you kind of remember? Because having a name, even internationally, it's still an issue for people to accept that this is a problem. Okay, and even here, even abroad, people are like, still, why do you need a label anyway? Okay, so let's
Yeah.
do it. What is it that you all saw, you as a sibling and maybe your mom? I mean, she, like you said, was in a different wavelength.
Okay, so I think for starters, she mentioned at some point that was he was late in talking. Even in
Mm-hmm.
uttering words, he was really late. In fact, that was when she suspected that something was wrong, you know, and all. But that was for her,
Mm-hmm.
from what she said. But for me, he was never coordinated. He wasn't coordinated, you know. He was all over the place. He he was very he had things, he wanted to do his things in a particular manner or in a particular way, and if you dare alter it, there's going to be trouble. Do you understand? If he keeps a book here, he needs to come back and see that book there. You don't move it. You know, that kind of thing. And then we were he could just sit down and stare into space. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he's not communicating. He's always blabbing. They're always saying He's always saying something, but not making any sense to anybody. He liked he could just sit down and stare into space. Then after a while, he'll wander. He'll walk around, and we might not even see him for a while. You know, we live in an estate then, so he would wander around the estate. When he's excited, he makes all these really loud noises. You know, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
What else? He didn't have eye contact growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't stare at you eyeballs to eyeball.
Mm.
Um, uh,
Okay, so while you're thinking of that, let me ask you, like you said, when he leaves something somewhere, he better come back and see that. So as a younger sibling, did you ever try to move those things, or like we say, look for his trouble just to see what will happen? If you did, then what was the result at the end of
um, I'm not sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not. I'm not sure. I actually did anything to. Yeah, normally we would look for trouble. You understand? But I think when I now started understanding that my brother was different, and I just felt he was helpless at that point, and I took it up to be his protector, quote unquote.
Uh-huh.
So I really did not. I really did not do things to trigger him.
Okay.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know that there was one incident we had growing up. I can't remember what he did to me, and I lost it. I shouted at him, and he gave me one heavy punch. And my mom wanted to kill him that day. Like, how dare you beat my daughter? But I think that's the only thing we had as siblings growing up where we had to, you know, do something to ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
oh, because I always had this thing that, I have to protect my brother. He's different. He can't protect himself. He's not violent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could actually do something to him, and he just sits down there watching you, and
Mm-hmm.
like helpless. So I came in as his. I think up to now he still sees me as his elder sister. You know, I always had his back. Yeah, I was ready to fight anybody, be whoever. I don't care who you are. Don't mess with my brother. Even up
Mm-hmm.
till now, I still do that
So you're
unconsciously.
one of
If you
those
raise it,
very protective siblings.
I tell my mom, I say, why you shout? Why you raising your voice? I don't raise your voice. I
Mm-hmm.
know. So, but growing up was not the easiest because we lived in an estate and we had
Mm-hmm.
kids, and it's normal for we as kids to come out later in the evening and play.
Yeah.
You know, so I had people bullying him. I'd go to school and come back, and some of my friends that maybe came back before me, they'll be like, one boy was bullying your brother. I will wear my short knicker and go and fight, you know? Like, don't touch my brother. So it now became a thing in the estate that, don't touch this boy. The sister it would be so bad that if I don't meet you that day, I'll meet you another day and run.
Oh my
So
God.
Yes, I was, because I didn't know what was wrong, and I just felt that don't take advantage of the fact that this boy cannot cannot defend himself, or
Mhm,
he's not normal like us. Don't
mhm.
don't touch my brother. You know.
Okay.
So so he grew up, even up till now. If sometimes if he has his tantrums and maybe I'm not in the house, my mom just picks up the phone. She's like, talk to your brother, talk to your brother. So I'll take the phone. I'll be like, I call him baby or sweetheart. I'll be like, ah, baby, what's wrong with you? Oh, yeah, sorry. Now don't mind them. You know, all those kind of things, so that
Mhm, mhm.
he will just calm down. So I
Um,
have a feeling that he sees me as his elder sister because of the way we
you
grew up.
grew
Actually.
up. Okay, so when you look at it, all that you're doing and protecting him and all of that, what kind of burden has it placed on you? You think is it is it? And then think about self-imposed burdens and the external burdens.
So there's some steps or some, yeah, let me call them steps I've wanted to take, but I didn't take them because I always said, who is going to be here to protect my brother? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm not sure anybody can do it as well as I can. So it's just some major steps I've wanted to take, and I had to factor him in, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
So how
Yeah, so that's.
do you feel? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you, any regrets, that sort of thing?
Mm,
Or ever like, if not for you
yes,
moments?
yes, if not for you, I've had those if not for you moments. I've had moments where I sat down to think that, okay, if I'd actually taken this step, maybe by now things would have been different, you know, and all, because it was okay. Like, for example, there was a time I wanted to japa, like leave the country here, and man, I said, I know mother going to cook, you know, because sometimes the burden and growing up, the burden was not easy on her because she was the only one, you know. There was no support. She had a sister. We call her our second mom. You know, so she stayed with her, but there was no father figure, kind of somebody to always run to and say, I'm tired, see what this boy is doing. So it really got to her. And at some point I just felt, okay, I need to step in and, handle some things. She doesn't need to come back and see that, okay, he has gone out. Sometimes he wanders off and then he doesn't come back, and then she comes back from work and she's looking for him. So before she comes back from work, I'll go and look for him and
Mm-hmm.
drag him
Mm-hmm.
into the house so that he's at home when she comes back, so that she's not upset that where did he go to,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So yeah, I've had to pause on some major life decisions because of him. But to be honest, I'm not saying this because he's my brother. I don't think I don't regret it. I think if I had the opportunity, I'd probably do it again.
Again.
That's
Mm-hmm.
love is fierce. I'm
Okay.
sorry,
No,
but
oh,
that's how much.
go on. That's why you're here. Just if you
That's how
want to cry, say
much.
cry.
Yeah, that's how
That's why
much.
all those things that you guys don't have the opportunity. Like I said, or not to you, but part of this is, I don't know how many, maybe not a lot of people know, but I have a daughter who's on the spectrum, which is how I got into all of this. And one day I sat and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm looking at her and her siblings and the sort of things that they're going through, and it just dawned on me that we as parents, or we really don't give you siblings a lot of space to do a lot of things. Some pick up the burden, some respond, go into other behaviors just to get that same attention. So I had to make a conscious effort. And
Yeah,
that's part why we're here. What are those things that you've experienced that if either parents or the environment stepped in and did differently would help you guys? So that's the sort of thing. So carry on. Don't it's not, because there are going to be other people. Your brother is 36. You're also like in your 30s. There are going to be people who are much younger who are coming on. There are going to be ladies in their 30s who are actually parents to individuals on the spectrum already. So
yeah.
what can be done differently and that sort of thing. Okay? So
Okay.
So whatever burden or experience that you have, whether it's negative or positive, especially the negative ones, we want to hear them so we can do better.
Okay,
Yes.
I think there's one I'm actually dealing with. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to me having a relationship, I put it
Mm-hmm.
out there. I have an autistic brother. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
make you understand that this boy, so he's my life. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I feel like he's my first child. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like he's my first child. So I'm practicing with him. So my brother is my life. So before I do some things, I put him into consideration first. So he
Mm-hmm.
comes first before me. So I put it out there to you that I have an autistic brother. If it doesn't go down well with you, let's just scatter this thing. I don't care how into you I am already.
Mm-hmm.
This my brother matters to
Mm-hmm.
me. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not forcing it on you. I'm not saying you have to be friends with my brother, but you have to accept the fact that I have an autistic brother, and you know what that means. You know, if for some reason at some point, because we're just two, it's not like I have an elder sister or a younger sister that I can say, okay, let him go and stay with. What if my mom is no more? I'm going to take responsibilities. I'm not going to put him in a home or anything. I don't intend to do that
Mm-hmm.
because I want to give him a good and proper life, you know. So I lay out my plans for the person to understand that this is it too.
Mm-hmm.
Can you deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
And for some funny reason, I don't know, I haven't met anyone that has come out to say, oh no, no, or you know, just because he's a very pleasant person. When you meet, he's not violent. That's one thing about him. He's not violent. He's very pleasant. So when you meet him and he likes you, he stays out of your way. He doesn't. That's one, and he doesn't get into people's way. He stays out of his or out of your way. He doesn't get into your business. He doesn't try to. I don't know. Is this light okay? Should I put
Yes,
it off?
Jenna. If you're just be sure you're safe, it's fine. It
No,
can be on.
I'm safe. I'm safe.
Okay.
So he's not all up in your business. You could be in the same house with my brother and he's just on his phone or he's watching TV. He likes sports. He
Mm-hmm.
used to be very athletic before he became very fat. He's been
Mm-hmm.
eating a lot now, so he doesn't carry himself like that. He's carry, and then old age again. But yeah, that's I think that's one of the I'm not going to call I don't want to call it negative, but it has impacted my
Mm-hmm.
relationship
Mm-hmm.
life,
Yeah.
I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you that, and I also think about it like, okay, so when you get married, when you're settled, or you have kids, brother has to stay. I don't know how we're going to do it. He's gonna be in the same house. Yeah, he's gonna be in the same house with me. Or I actually have thought of, okay, should we actually even get him a wife? But even if we do, they have to be under our supervision. You understand? And my mom is so scared. So my mom is every mother would be when you have a child, you know, you'd be
Mm-hmm.
scared. So I feel her fears actually held her back from allowing my brother explore. Because I always tell people, I'm like, we didn't know anything about autism. And I can tell you for a fact that my brother has turned out better than what I thought he would
Mm-hmm.
be. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yeah.
So imagine that we knew or we had all this information
Ages.
that we had there.
Mm-hmm.
My God, it's I'm sure it will be mind blowing by now. So when I see my friends that have autistic kids, I'm like, oh my God, you don't know. This I start encouraging them. I'm like, they are amazing. They will beat your imagination. All you need to do is just get them and go with them. Like, you know, support them. If you see they have a major interest in something, pick it up. You know, work on their talent. That thing that they're always showing you interest in,
Mm-hmm.
work on it, and you would be surprised what they would do. My brother makes eba for me and him to eat. My brother cleans the house
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't go out except I take him out.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to get himself busy. He cleans the house. We sleep in the same room. I can tell you for a fact that I would stand up, scatter everywhere, and go to where I'm going to. By the time I come back, he has laid the bed. The room is looking all tidy, and I was just looking at him like, what would I do without you? Thank you. When it comes to teaching him one or two things, I take that responsibility up. It's not so easy because sometimes it can be very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you tell him something today, then I'm looking at him like 5 minutes later, I'm like, I'll not ask him that question. I'm like, okay, what? Where am I going to start from? So I had to learn patience with him. I was not patient with him as growing up also as a child before I understood that okay, you need to protect. I wasn't. Sometimes I just look at him and I'll walk away when I'm trying to do something. He's not getting up. Like, what's wrong with you?
Mhm.
You know, I
Mhm.
didn't understand. When I remember those periods, I actually feel very bad. Like, what's wrong with you? Can't you understand what I'm saying? You know. But
Mhm.
it took me a while to understand that they need to process it. I need to keep repeating it to him every time, and then
Yeah.
he gets used to it.
Mhm.
Two
Mhm.
nights two nights ago, we were driving. I went to run an errand for my mom. So when we got to the estate the gate of our estate, I said, "Where do you live?" He said, "We live at 1004. That's where we used to live
No.
before
Mhm.
we parked to." And I said, and I laughed, and I said, "Okay, you don't live at 1004 anymore. You now live at Agungi." And I asked him again. I said, "So when I tell you, ask you where do you live? Say I live at Agungi."
Mhm.
And I said, "Okay, so where do you live?" Say I live at 1004 Agungi. Why? Because he's already used to that 1004. So I can't just change his mind in 1 second. Like what's happening, you know? So
And you were
I started laughing.
didn't get frustrated this time around.
I was laughing because I'm already used to it. So I now started repeating it. I made him repeat it with me till we got to the house and I left him. Then the next morning when he woke up, I was like, "How far now? Where do you live?" He said, "I live at 1004." And I said, "Eh? What's that?" I said, "Where do you live?" And I said, "I live at," he now paused because I think he remembered that I told him something the day before, but he
Mhm.
couldn't. And I said, you know, I said, "I live at Agungi." So
Exactly. Good
that's, you
one.
know, yeah. And when he does all those little things, I always cheer him. Hey, good boy, you know, just to excite him so that he keeps it
He's
when
now
I get
a man.
home. It's just him as my baby. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's
Yes,
a-
he's a man. But yeah, that's it wasn't it was for my mom. I would say it was really frustrating, and I actually understand what she went through at that point in time.
Mhm.
You know, it wasn't easy. At some point, I felt like all the burden of being a child was on me. So they're looking up to me for so many things because it just felt like not only you we get to see
Mhm.
your brother. You know, so
Mhm.
I had there were so many expectations from of me from them, and at some point it was really tiring because I was like, I can't do this. People should just allow me,
Yeah.
you know. No, but
So
I
voice,
think
did you voice that out to them?
no,
Did you
I never.
why why didn't you voice it out?
I grew up in an African home where you cannot say some certain things. They will beat you and remind you that they are paying your school fees for a reason.
Oh,
You can't tell me that,
I mean
you know. So
so
I
think that should have been done differently by them. Expect all that expectation of you and from you. What would have helped? Even though it was just you and your mom taking care of him, what do you think could have helped in that moment?
maybe if she had been more, I don't know if I should use the word understanding,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel the pressure was on her,
Mm-hmm.
you know, taking care of two kids, just alone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If she had been more understanding and if she had been more, I don't want to use the word approachable, but let me
Yeah.
use that word approachable. If I was able to walk up to her and say, "Mommy, I cannot do this, I'm tired." And she's like, "Oh no, my daughter, you can. Why? You have the strength, you know, encourage me." So I couldn't do all of that. In fact, I feel like I matured early. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had to because of my brother. I matured. I took up some responsibility, you know, taking care of him, making sure everything is okay before my mom comes back because she has gone to work. I don't know the pressure she's facing there, so I don't need her coming back. I'm pouring that pressure on her. In fact, there was one day she went to she we thought she had gone to work,
Mm-hmm.
but she came back for something, and my brother had been that out. Do you know that my mother did not go to work?
Oh dear.
She waited. She waited for him to come back. She beat. I, I didn't like my mom that day for that thing that she did to my brother. I wanted to. I told my brother. I cried with him because he cried. So I cried with him, and I said, "We're going to leave. Let's pack out." You know all this.
I'm packed to where? Where were you going to pack
I
to?
don't know, but don't beat my brother like that. And the funny thing is, when it came to them beating me, Uncle was not bothered though. Peter,
He probably
she
did not.
deserves it.
He didn't understand what was going on. So.
Then when I'm crying, you now come and sit and be looking at me like this, you know. But now he's more empathetic. Empathetic, if I should use that word. If you're crying, he would come. Sorry. He knows when I'm in a mood now. When I come back and I'm in a mood, he'll stay away. Or you see him tiptoeing around me
Yeah.
so that he doesn't get I don't lash out on him and all. But I think as he grew, he became better.
Mm.
Actually.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of, yeah, like you said, parents be more understanding, more so, but we're looking at somebody, an adult that's currently 36 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
So 36 years ago in the country, all of these things weren't available. Nobody knew, and they thought just beat the living daylight or beat whatever demon it is out of the person.
So
Okay.
much prayers.
That we're talking of 36 years ago.
Yeah.
Having said that, it doesn't mean that it has become any better, because we're in the city, we're in the urban setting, but even within this urban setting, there are enclaves that we can say are rural areas, as we know. Okay, before you even go into the real rural areas.
Yeah.
So we're the whole idea is that we don't want to castigate so much or say, oh, because there wasn't information. However, right now, parents can actually take from this, from what Mimi has said, and learn and apply. Okay. And other family members, support groups, whatever it is, take from this as well. In fact, the society as a whole, okay, we need to be more aware, excuse me, more understanding and more tolerant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tolerant.
To everybody really, not just individuals with autism and other challenges. So I'm just thinking here, is there something that you think can be done better? Yes, he's a bit older, but what can be done? Do you think there are things that can be still put in place, either from a family perspective, for you as a sibling, and to support you, and for him as well?
Yeah. So I was actually that's one of my plans for 2023. I want to enroll him in an art school
Mm-hmm.
because he likes to paint. He likes to sing actually, but he doesn't have a voice. So,
That
but he likes to
voice
paint.
training
Hmm.
now.
Have you heard my brother talk? His voice is light. I thought I was going to be at home. At some point, I was saying I was going to bring him on to just say hi, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. But so I want to enroll him in that art school so that
Mm-hmm.
at least we could
Mm-hmm.
train that part of him that I know he likes. Because the truth about it, I think that part of him has actually died. I don't see it anymore like how it used to be before, and that's because we never did anything about it. To be honest, just bought him drawing books and was done coloring like I got a rest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also yeah and I kind of feel somehow that if I was his elder sister, things would have actually been different. It would,
Why do you say that? What do you
um
think if you were you're older versus now that you're younger?
I guess it's just my thoughts. I guess it's just my thoughts. I don't know why. I don't know why actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I always I still have that thought in my head that if I was his elder sister, probably things would have turned out a little. Don't
Like,
know why. I'm still trying to. So I probably I'd have taken him out of my mother's care.
mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I probably would have moved out, or if I probably was married or something. I just remove him because with my brother, yes, I like to protect him, but I like to allow him do some certain things.
Mm-hmm.
With my mom, she's scared. So even going out with him, she's like, hey, so come and go out now. The boy will throw tantrums. I'm like, no, he won't. Let's go. So when we go out, I see to him. I'll tell my mom, go and do what you want to do. And he doesn't throw any tantrums because I have come to understand that. Allow him. You
Yeah.
understand? But when it feels like you're trying to police him, you're saying, stop that, don't do it. It triggers something in him, and then he
Mm-hmm.
begins to behave. That's one thing I've noticed about my own brother. So
Mm-hmm.
when we go out, I have fun now. Make sure he's eating. If I bring out my phone and I'm videoing, he's bringing out his own phone too. He's making videos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's vibing and everybody's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when he goes out with my mom, they always come back to problem. So she doesn't take him out,
mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because she's trying to. So those are the things that I actually look at and I'm like, okay, so I probably would have, you know, maybe taken him out of my mom's care and I've kept him with me, you know, and I'll just allow him do some things that I know that he likes this thing. Let's harness this particular talent that he has and all. But
Yeah.
yeah. So my brother has a friend. His name is Jeffrey. He's actually on the spectrum. When we met Jeffrey was very violent. In fact, we met Jeffrey at the first station. He was beating up the attendants that day. Yes. So my mom, his mom was there. She couldn't do anything. So my mom walked up to her and said, is your son autistic? I said, I have noticed. So she was like, does he beat people up? Because he was really beating up the guy. We don't know what the guy did to him. I was like, no, that one, you even slap him, he'll be looking at you, he won't do. And the mother was like, I need to see your son, you know. So funny enough, she brought Jeffrey to our house. They became friends. I don't know how. And I've noticed something about them. When they meet themselves, they know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
know how, just leave them. They know how to do their communication by themselves. You understand? So they brought Jeffrey to the house and they became friends. This is Jeffrey that he couldn't talk. Jeffrey now has a phone. He calls me, Mimi, how are you? I just called to say hi. I'm like, hey, you know, so sometimes, and that's why I understand when you keep them together, they pick things from themselves. So Jeffrey actually picked that personal hygiene also from my brother because he now started washing his boxers, started taking his bath by himself, started using deodorant because his mom came back and she was like, this friendship would never, every day Jeffrey was always coming to my house. Every day Jeffrey was always coming to my house. Yes, because she saw the improvement and she was so impressed. So I don't know the thing about putting them together and they just know how to do that. I don't know. There's something they know. They know. Now they went to that.
A fantastic job.
Thank you. But so they went to that school I told you about at Ikeja together.
Yeah.
And after the school, Jeffrey's mother enrolled him in secondary school.
No.
Oh, my mom was.
Oh, wow.
My mom was too scared. Like Jeffrey's mother was like, I beg, I have 5 kids. One is not going to kill me. Do you know that? Yes. So they even started the secondary school together. Funny, no, they didn't start secondary school together. They're going to this school. They were using bus. My brother and Jeffrey. So my mom would go and drop my brother at Jeffrey's place, thinking that Jeffrey's dad's driver is the one taking them to school. The day she realized it was bus.
That was the end.
But
so
you know what?
Okay, so if I pick up on that, has your mom come to a full understanding of what autism is? Does she have enough information? And do you think that if she has, is she still, you know, because she's done this like for 36 years, come on, do you understand? Do you think that she's going to get to a place where she really would let go, realizing that she has information, or she still doesn't have enough information? And do you think that you can get her to see that um, her responses are actually impeding or how they've impacted your brother?
My mom is still looking for a miracle that she makes up for there. My brother is just normal. Yeah, it's a truth that I have come to accept. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when she does some things, I'm always like, "Go to that." So, you know, I told her, I said, see, you really do not understand this, but he has a lot of sense. He knows what he does. You know, sometimes I have to tell her, okay, do like this, and see what he will. She's like, it's true. But she's still, I don't think she has actually accepted the fact that this is it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but you can actually make something out of it. I told her, I said, look at Jeffrey. You knew how he was. Jeffrey finished, he did SSC. Not sure he passed everything, but he started working in his dad's office. They just gave him one job somewhere. You know, he wear his suit, enter bus, and go to Obalende all the way from Lekki. This is somebody that when we met him, he didn't know his left from right. But see how he turned out to be, you know? And that's because Jeffrey's mom just said, no, I'm not going to allow this.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, she's scared, number one. I'm not sure she has accepted facts.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure she has accepted the fact. She still prays, oh my God, God, mental, how they call it again? Oh, that's not my mom, but, you know, meant, there's a word she uses, and when I just look at her like this, and I walk away because I'm already used to it. Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
worry, it's my brother. Last, let me get her. As far as I'm concerned,
Abby?
so leave him for me. Fact is, I know that they can do a whole lot. You get them to do. You just know how to go about
Mm.
it. You know, channel it in the right way. So I just allow her to do her thing because she's the mother.
So how
What am I expecting
that
from her?
make you feel? How does all of that make you feel? You know, knowing that okay, here is his friend who's who's moved
I
on.
didn't feel good at first, though. Hey, ah, I gave my mother war. At some point, I had to stop because I now saw how it was affecting her. She felt like, so is it me? Are you saying I'm the one? I'm the reason why he's still like this, you know? So I stopped. But I said, look at Jeffrey. So it felt like I was comparing her and I didn't feel good about it. So I stopped. I just told her that would do better. See how Jeffrey turned out, you know? Allow this boy. She's scared.
Mm.
She's scared. She's like, the world doesn't even accept them. The world is not even nice to them. I can't let my son go out. No, I
But she
know.
first of all has to be nice and accepting of the situation.
We'll still be praying for her. We'll still be talking to her. My mom is very, all these, our mothers now, church, God. But truly, there's nothing God cannot do. I know that, but this particular one, she just believes that she would. In fact, there was one time we had a prayer in the house and she's like, she will sleep and wake up and my brother will be normal the
Good.
next day. I remember these things and I just laugh, ignorance and all. But I think that's just
But you also okay, so what do you think is a miracle? What do you define as a miracle for your brother as a sibling? What would you describe as a miracle? Or what you would see happen that would be a miracle?
I think it's already a miracle,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. Because truth is, we didn't know anything. We just did things our way.
Mm-hmm.
My brother dresses himself. So he can never catch him wear orange and purple. He will do the color combination. When
Mm-hmm.
he's due for a haircut, he'll come and miss me. I'm touching his beard and rubbing his head like, Madam, how far? Don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Then he looks at himself in the mirror. If he likes the haircut, he's like, wow. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, um, he his personal hygiene. I would call him on the phone and tell him, I'm trying to reach your mother. Go and give her your phone. I need to talk to her. And he does it. These little things that I never thought would ever happen,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. I did not think there was going to be a day. So I handed my brother a phone. and I gave him the internet. He navigated his way to YouTube. He's a Michael Jackson fan and a Tom and Jerry addict. Those were the how he got to type the words. I'm still when I think about it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how did you, you know? And he was watching videos of Michael Jackson and Tom and Jerry on. How did you even know about YouTube? Who told you that there's YouTube?
I tell people they are not blind though. They see, like you rightly said, they observe and they pick up all of this. But you know, that in itself, as far as I'm concerned, is a miracle. You know, because that happens is that there are things that we define, like saying, oh, wake up and the person, I see somebody else saying the same thing. You just wake up and, oh, it's this whole autism has disappeared, that is the miracle. I don't think that is it, okay? Because that means that we can then control God and whatever.
Yeah.
You understand? But the fact that he now has his self-help skills, that's a miracle in itself. The fact that he can use the phone, the fact that he's not even violent.
He can light the gas and boil water. Nobody has died in the house.
That's a miracle. So all those things, because there are people, because it's a spectrum, there are people at the lower end, people, you know, it's like a rainbow. You're either red, orange, whatever color. That's the way, you know, the autism spectrum is. So wherever you meet the person, you make the best of it, and whatever skills they acquire at that point in time, that's a miracle. If we wake up and it has disappeared, all well and good. But if we don't wake up, we shouldn't sit in one spot and be beating up on ourselves or not allowing the individual to thrive because of what we're expecting or what we think should be happening, pretty much like everything else in life. If it doesn't happen the way we've scripted it, then it's not a miracle. Okay, so you know, that's why I'm like, okay, so for you, what's that miracle? And I can see that
Irons, he floats by himself. My brother takes care of me as far as I'm concerned, because he takes care of the room that we sleep in the same. He takes care of the room. Like, I could just do and go, and I'm coming back. My brother has arranged. So when I come, he's the one that locks the gates to the house.
Okay.
He will not sleep until I come back. So if I know I'm stepping out of the house and I'm not coming back, I'm like, see you tomorrow, because while I go there, he needs to lock the gate. My sister is not around, so I need to wait for her. So sometimes when I come back late, I find him pacing around the compound because he's waiting for when I come, maybe so that he would hear and open the gate. That's a miracle. Because I felt I would always have to look out for this young man for the rest of my life. But at some point, it now feels like he's looking out for me. The days that I'm not feeling fine, they give him food. He brings it to my room. Then after a while, he'll come back and pick up the plate and wash, clean up the kitchen.
You see?
You know, those little things. I'm not worried about, are you wearing to church? He will iron his clothes and wait to go to church or step out. You know, those little, but that to me is already a miracle. And I'm always very thankful for the little progress that I see in him.
There are some that cannot dwell on.
Yes.
There are some.
Yes. I'm always
not learn them. So that's that's a huge miracle right there.
You know, when his phone is dead or is about to die, he'll go and plug it. You know, those little things that people will think, So that's why I said the way he turned out, or the way he has turned out now, personally to me, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
A big miracle, because I kid you not, I did not think I would see this growing up, to be honest. I had a friend come to my house one time, and jokingly, I don't even know what we did, and the guy wanted to, blow me. My brother just said, "Hey, stop that!" I said, "Hey." Everybody was like, no, don't do that. Like, don't touch my sister. This is the way that I used to fight for growing up. Now, look at it. And I'm sure if somebody should hit me, because I know my brother is very powerful, and I'm very thankful for the fact that he is not violent. There was a time we did summer school at some school at Palm Grove. So they had this statue of Mary, where, according to the principal then, 5 hefty men carried that statue from the car to where it was. A teacher got my brother upset that day in school, and he moved the statue to show his anger. Only him know he has the strength. I know we had to change his name. His name was Oduduwabasi. That's power of God. But we kept calling him Odu. That's just power. My brother, it was big. The power was, my mom had to change it to Victor, that you don't do. You understand? So I know that if my brother has to get physical to protect me, and I see it happen, I'm not sure I'll be surprised with what I'm seeing now. You know, but it was never always like this. It was never always like this.
So maybe it's a question of getting him to, you know, do more socializing with him, so he builds his social skills.
Yeah.
And, you know, that sort of thing. And you never, like you said, starting him off either with arts, music, something that he likes. You know, it's good if you ask him, what would you like to do, draw or sing or whatever, you know. And from then on, he starts mixing with people. Okay.
Exactly.
Even if
Yeah.
you're finding, you yourself can do a little bit more training to enlighten yourself so that you acquire more skills to be able to help him better. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, apart from him getting into it, but do you have sort of like any fears? What do you think it would be if you were not for him to just walk off and wander away? What was your greatest fear? I mean, I know at the beginning you were like, if your mom is not there or if you're gone,
My great
what will happen?
fear. Hey, I'm afraid to say it.
What?
So
You
sometimes I wonder, I'm like,
him or your mommy dying and leaving both of what? That's usually, well, that's what some people
not
have,
even
but
my mom, me.
mm-hmm,
Not even thinking about my mom. I'm like, God forbid that something happens. How does this work? But the truth is, somewhere in my mind, I'm like, he would cope. But then again, I'm like, how? You know,
so
how? So
mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm,
one of my greatest fears. And one of my, what, something I really want to see happen in this life, I want to see my brother carry his own kids because he loves, I don't know how that is going to happen, but it's something I would really want to see happen in this. Aside,
mm-hmm,
so I think for me, my greatest fear, because I know that if you keep that boy anywhere and he needs to do something, he knows he has to do it. He will do it.
mm-hmm.
Especially when, God forbid, it has to be a death or life situation.
Yeah.
You know, I think I have a feeling that he would find his way. I don't know how he do it. Find his, my brother crosses the road now. Can't
Mm-hmm,
never jam up. He look before he will cross. You know,
mm-hmm,
so. But one of the things I would really want to see happen is I would really want him to get to a point where I feel comfortable and safe enough that okay, this guy can actually have a family. But that to happen, so many things need to be in place.
mm-hmm. Like what?
I
What
need to I need
things?
to come to the realization that if he has to get married, he understands that this is his wife. It's not your sister,
Mm-hmm,
it's your wife. You know? And the way you relate to your wife, not the way you relate to, I need to come to that understanding and be sure that he understands that, you know.
mm-hmm,
And then when there's a child, this is your child. This is not your sister's child or somebody else's child. This is your child. So you need to love them the way a father would love a child
mm-hmm,
and the way a husband would love his wife. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So maybe that's
So
what you
I don't know.
want to channel her energy to. Say, Mommy, have you ever prayed for him to get married? Maybe that will.
She said yes, so one time. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, there was one girl that came to meet her one time in church and said she likes her son. She said, don't say that.
Uh-uh. Why? Oops, is it me or is it you, Mimi? Okay. Okay, go on. It was frozen a bit. I was wondering whether it was me or you. Go
Okay.
on. Mhm.
Okay. So
That
she's scared, and and she just feels like it's not the right time yet. I mean, I told her, I said, when is the right time? We can start working on it. Maybe my brother he watches movies. I'm sure he sees where people get married. I'm sure he understands it. So maybe when we put him in a situation where he has to now show us this is it, we will be amazed at what he will do. But we're not even giving him that opportunity.
So you have to start giving that opportunity. You need to
Yes.
start. Yeah. You need to start doing that. Remember, he's 36, so you need to start giving him those opportunities. Yeah.
I know,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Very, very, very lovely. Very lovely. So, if for people that are out there who may have siblings that are well advanced in age, they are not young, what would you say to them? Mimi is smiling.
Not easy. Yes, it's not easy. A lot of sacrifices need to be made. That's the truth. And you might sometimes find yourself putting them before yourself, and sometimes you might find you putting yourself before them. You're not selfish. That's the truth. Don't ever think because you're putting yourself before your sibling, your special sibling, you're being selfish. No, because I feel you need to be happy to make others around you happy. So if you put your sibling before yourself and you're not happy, my dear, I don't understand whatever you're doing might not even turn out well. That's the truth. So if you have to put yourself first before your sibling, please do it. Please do it.
Great.
If you have to put your sibling before yourself, whatever works for you and makes you happy, do it. Obviously show more love. Try to be more tolerant. It's not easy. Even up to now, sometimes it does some things and I'm like, what's wrong with this one? And I try, so I'm very careful with words around him. Like before, it was very easy to, are you mad? What's wrong with you? Yes, I'm not lying. Growing up, I did a lot of that because I'm like, but now I'm like, come on now, you can do better, And then when he does, I'm like, yay, good boy.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the improvement. You understand? Because they have feelings. That's the truth. I get scared sometimes because I don't even know when his head is aching him. So my brother can just sit and he's not feeling fine. He won't say anything, no. He just keep quiet. But I will know because I will look at him and I'll just realize that this boy is slow. So his threshold for pain is a lot.
Yeah.
You understand? And until the thing breaks him down, maybe he cannot stand up again and then you do that. So I'll be like, this boy is sick. You need to treat malaria. You need to check what's wrong. So I got me. I'm like, where is paining you? My head. So you know what to do. But he will not come and voice out and tell you, I'm not feeling fine. No.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to pay very, very close. At the time I left the house and I came back, and my brother was sick. I just got into the house and I looked at him and I was like, Mommy, this boy is not feeling fine. She said, hey! I don't blame her because I don't blame her. She said, hey! All I want is sending message. There's no maid. We didn't have a maid there. So it's my brother that should be sending because I was not in the house. We're just the both of us, And he will do it. Even if he's not feeling fine, he will do it. That's my brother because he knows that there's nobody in the house. So I'm like, this boy's not feeling fine. So she looked at him, she was like, Jesus, she didn't know, she felt really bad, And then since then, she started paying more attention to him.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I don't know. Do you have anything else for us? I mean, I could keep you up for forever, but I think what we'll do, because this Instagram, they have their limitations. So what we'll probably do, if you have anything else to say, or much later, we can come back on and then you carry on. I'm sure you'll have updates, especially after you've sent him off to music or art school. We're all see how that goes. So we'll get some updates and that sort of thing. Yeah. But please, just encourage him. We'll see how you can get yourself some more training so that you acquire more skills. now that there's more knowledge and information out there to help you better. And hopefully, as you do those things and there's more improvement by God's grace, your mom will feel a bit more relaxed. Okay? Yeah.
Yes.
And then, yeah, somebody was like, has anybody, I know there's a couple, was it early this year or last year? I can't remember their name. But when we stop, I'll look for their name and put it, share the link in under this video in the comments for the couple that got married. You know, there are people, autistics get married.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Yeah.
you know, they just need to understand what's going on, like Mimi said, and be able to, and hey, do we all even understand what we're doing in life completely? You know, so yes.
Somebody's
Yeah,
asking about this school in
where
Ikeja.
he went to. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember
I
this?
think I think it's Olusoye. Some Olusoye. I'll look it up, but there's Olusoye in the name though. Olusoye something. I'll check and I'll send it to you so that maybe.
Okay, all right, no
Yes.
problem. And we'll put it in the comments. Or after we post it, you can just pop it in the comments anyway.
Comment. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So it's been lovely having you on. I want you to get on with getting into the house before your brother comes out looking for you.
I know, right? Mm.
So it's been awesome. And then we look forward to having you another time. Yeah, and I hope everybody has picked one or two things from this and we'll keep the conversation going. And please, as a sibling, always reach out for help. Don't think you have to
Yeah.
do it or bottle things up. Okay? So with that said, thank you very much.
Thank you for having.
Tuning in. You're quite welcome, and the pleasure is mine. So we're going to go on a holiday. Everybody, enjoy your holiday. Be safe out there.
Merry
We'll be back
Christmas.
in January with the next episode. Thank you so much, my dear. Take good care.
Bye.
All right, dear. Bye.